If you're a Kraken fan or Bumbu or even Dom Papa and you're kind of inquisitive about proper rum, less sweetened rum, then how do you take that next step? Well, in today's video, that's what I'm going to be talking about. I'm going to share my story and I'm going to give you some helpful, hopefully, hints and tips about how you can progress up to drinking proper, unsweetened, undosed, unadulterated, proper rum. Now, despite what some parts of the rum community will tell you, they'll always try and get you onto proper rum straight away. It just can't happen. There is no way in the world that the vast majority of people are going to go from these rums, and I've got the US cracking out here for you US guys. There is no way people can kind of step up to these rums to something like the Dawley's 14 just like that, just in one go. It just won't happen. That's why these rums and kind of in-betweeny rums do play a vital role in the whole rum world. There is a huge role for sweetened rum in the rum community because it is the gateway. Of course it is. And people that kind of deny that are just, as I've said time and time again, I've used this word, they are deluded. Okay, it's absolutely delusional that the rum can just get by with these kind of rums behind me. We do need these sweetened rums. But if you are inquisitive, that's what this channel is all about. I want to take those inquisitive people, not saying people have to follow me. I want to take the inquisitive people that maybe do kind of drink the sweeter, the cheaper spiced rums. But I want to take them on a journey and help them through to maybe progress up to some of these rums. Because as you get older, your palate changes, it gets less sweet. It's exactly what's happened to me. And then you start to appreciate these more than you do these. And that's kind of why I try and set a ceiling on this channel for £50, rum for £50. Because it's not that I hate more expensive rums. I've got plenty more expensive rums behind me, down on the floor, up on the top shelf up there. I've got plenty of more expensive rums. But the point I want to make is I'm not talking to that part of the rum community. I'm talking to the inquisitive people that just want to kind of naturally and slowly progress. But I just want to make this point as well. Don't automatically assume that over £50, £100 rums taste better, because again, that is delusional thinking. I've got some absolute bangers behind me here for £35 that are leaps and bounds above £100 rums. But all that said, if these are your drinks of choice and you want to get to these behind me, how do you do it? How do you take that next step? Because I generally don't believe it's all about going cold turkey and just instantly swapping. Some people will be able to handle it, of course they will, but the vast majority won't. The vast majority will want sort of a journey, step by steps, and that's what I'm going to try and help you with now. Now, before we go any further, I just want to make it crystal clear about one thing. I am a neat spirits drinker. I love my neat spirits, and I have done for the bulk of my adult life, 20 plus years. But my first spirit was cognac. And I was drinking that roughly at about 21, 22. I loved neat cognac. Don't get me wrong, even back then, I did love rum, but I found rum a little bit harsher and a little bit more hard work, whereas cognac for me was just absolutely delicious. So when I say I've been drinking neat spirits, yes, I've been drinking neat cognac, but it took me quite a while to actually work up to drinking some of these rums behind me neat. If you want to chat about other spirits like cognac and all that, then come into my Discord community. It is free for everyone. There is an exclusive members area where if you're in my membership community, you do get access to the bigger part of Discord, but the outer part of Discord is completely free. Come and join the community. There are hundreds of people in there. We chat about rum every single day. The link will be in the description below, so come and join us. And I just want to pay homage for a second to these rums as well, because I do have a couple of them just purely for, what's the word, prosperity reasons, whatever the word is, for that, because they kind of mean something to me. These were the 4 rums that are, right, this is rebranded, I'll talk about that in a sec. These were the very first 4 proper rums that I was able to sell in my bar, roughly about 2004, when suppliers listed changes, when all of a sudden we were able to get Caribbean rums or rums from the Caribbean over to the UK and started selling them. These were the 4, and that's kind of why I have Pampero Anniversario behind me, because it is that nostalgia. Angostura in 1919, but actually, and I will always call it this was Havana Cuban Barrel Proof. Okay, it's called Selection de Maestros now, but if you ever hear me say Havana CBP, that is exactly what I'm talking about. Havana Cuban Barrel Proof. And these were the rums that I love. But even back then, I really struggled to drink these neat. And yes, these were slightly sweeter. They were, but there was still nothing like cognac for me. Cognac just slipped down. These were a bit more hard work. But like a lot of people, the rums that I actually enjoy drinking in the way I enjoy drinking was mainly spiced rums. I would love to have a bottle here. I haven't got. Sailor Jerry was my drink of choice for years. Same as Lamb's, spiced, you know, those. But my thing, yes, I did love cola. But my thing was ginger beer. I loved rum, spiced rum and ginger beer. It got to that point where as I got a little bit older, as I've said many times before, I couldn't handle the sweetness as much and I couldn't handle the gas as much. And getting even older now, all right, I'm only mid-40s, but getting, especially in the last sort of 3 to 4 years, that is kind of accelerated. You know, even now I've just filmed a rum and coke video and I'm burping for Great Britain. I just can't handle the gas. So I kind of had to find another way to enjoy my rum. But even coming from spiced rums and flavoured rums to drinking neat rum was still a little bit beyond me, even though my palate had changed, even though it kind of had dried out. Neat rum was still beyond me, and I see this every single day in Discord. So that's when I started exploring other drinks and what could I drink to get me into neat spirits, because I really wanted to drink neat spirits. And this is the drink that I want to kind of talk about today. And this is the rum fashioned, or the rum old fashioned, however you want to call it. It is famous in whiskey world. It is one of the big drinks in whiskey world. But heck, it's rum. It's obviously going to taste better with rum. Of course it is. I just want to take a very quick moment of your time to thank this week's show sponsors. It's Stratford Soda. It's a long-term ongoing paid promotion because I just love these guys so much. Low in carbonation, low in sugar. The only dedicated mixer brand, rum, or mixer brand in the UK for rum. If you want to try these, if you're in the UK for the very first time, we're giving you 50% off your very first order. There's a link that will auto-populate in the description below. Auto-populate at checkout. So don't get all confused. It's when you check out, you'll see it magically kind of give you a cheaper price. For in the range at this precise moment, the citrus, which is what I call the long daiquiri. We've got the tropical, which I call the long pina colada, pineapple and coconut, without the sort of the creaminess. We've got the spiced, not to be confused with ginger beer, or it's cinnamon forward with a hint of ginger, absolutely delicious. And we've got the hedgerow, which is blackberry and rum. I strongly urge every single pub, bar, hotel, restaurant up and down the UK to get involved in these and get these in your bottle chillers, because for the upcoming rum boom, the upcoming rum trend, these are going to play an integral part. And I just want to do my bit to take them like UK. Let's take them global because they are fantastic. I love them. Now, this is the drink that I have to thank for me being able to drink neat rum and really, really appreciating and like enjoying neat rum. Because I don't really talk about this too much in my rum journey, but I spent probably about 8, maybe 10 months or so on this drink, gradually altering it, gradually kind of bringing it down to the stage where, you know, I was really enjoying the sort of neat liquid, if you like, neat rum straight out the bottle, into a glass obviously, but straight out the bottle. But this is the big drink now I got to fan. Now, for those of you who don't know what the rum fashioned is, it's essentially 3 things. It's a component of 3 things. Well, 4 things actually. Firstly, you've got your rum of choice. Secondly, you've got ice. Thirdly, you've got a bit of sugar. And fourthly, maybe bitters. And I say maybe bitters, traditionally you do add bitters, but the whole point is you can wean yourself off of that. Now, when you're first starting out, you would probably go to kind of bring it up, and this is kind of going to bring this cocktail up to those sort of levels. You would kind of add a double shot of your rum of choice in there, and maybe kind of 15ml, half a shot of sugar syrup. Now, I dare say a lot of you will kind of add 25ml. Where we go? Which one's been UK? There it is. That's the UK one. So 25ml of sugar syrup in there. I've seen it done loads, and that's, you know, if that's your palate, that will make it sweeter than what these are. But 15ml of sugar in that, you've roughly got the same kind of volumes of sweetness going on into that drink. Now, of course, with the ice, the more you stir, the more you add dilution. So again, you're kind of watering down your rum of choice, basically watering it down to kind of lengthen it out, if you like. But then you can add stuff like bitters. Aaron, let's just get those ones out. Like, pretend these are Angostura. Sorry, my Angostura bitters are in a dash bottle like that. Otherwise, I was going to get them out. But you know, well, you can get the orange ones. There we go. You can kind of just add a dash of bitters to that. Now, that is the cocktail. Now, the whole point here is that you can adjust this cocktail much like you can any other cocktail, but this specifically works for this and like the daiquiri. What you basically do is over time, you gradually wean yourself off the sugar. You wean yourself off the ice, off the dilution, and maybe even wean yourself off the bitters. And that is how you do it. So I started off for the first month or so, 15 ml of sugar syrup. Now, if you've got a bar spoon and you don't have a jigger like this, 3 of those essentially, these are kind of 5 ml in the base of a bar spoon. Now it's basically 5 ml. So you can add 3 sort of bar spoons of sugar and some ice and just kind of give it a stir. And as I say, the more you stir it, the more dilution you add. And I spent a good month or so drinking that. That was just absolutely delicious. I loved it. But what that enabled me to do was actually explore different rums. It doesn't allow you to appreciate the nuance of the rum as much as it does neat, but you certainly get a taste for that rum coming through there. Because don't forget, the bulk of that, you've got at least 50 ml of rum in there, and only maybe by the time you've diluted it down, maybe 25 ml of water from the ice, maybe sort of 15 ml of that. So the bulk of it is rum. You're not going to lose the inherent rumminess from it. You're just going to lose the subtle nuances. So after the first month or so, I gradually got braver. I kind of sort of just came down to 10 ml, 2 bar spoons, if you like, of sugar in there. And I kind of went from Demerara sugar to kind of white normal cane sugar, just playing about with that, sometimes with honey. I've got honey syrup here. You know, just those 3 things. Agave is the other one as well. You could just kind of play about with those. But again, over the next couple of months or so, I was drinking 10 ml. And now again, I was exploring more and more rums. Now, I still... you know, this rum in here, and I've got it here. This is what I call my beast mode. This is Puss's 15-year-old. This for me is still way too much for me to handle. It is, I love it, but it is whiskey vibes for me. It's very, very hardcore. The only way I can really drink that is in a rum fashion, and that's exactly what rum is in here, to be fair. And I've got 5 ml of sugar in there. I don't lose the rum on there, but it just makes it more accessible. Now, the big part of that journey came after sort of 4, 5, maybe 6 months or so, because I really did struggle I got down to 5 ml. I got down to a bar spoon with some rums, like Eldorado, for instance. I got down to a bar spoon of sugar with Eldorado. But some rums, I didn't have this at the time. I'm just trying to think what other rum I had. Sorry, obviously it was the Ron Cubé, the 10-year-old. You know, I've had the Cubés for years and years and years. Always had that. And some of the plantations behind me. And the plantations are they have a little bit of sugar added to it and a little bit of sweetness. But the point is, you know, I really, really struggled to do away with that 5 ml of sugar syrup. And that took me a good few months just to kind of, some rums worked, some rums didn't work for me. As I say, I still have to add 5 ml of sugar syrup now in a rum fashion to be able to make that drinkable for me. But I eventually got there. It was persistence. I stopped using bitters, aromatic bitters, after probably like 2 or 3 months because I just wanted to enjoy the rum. And I didn't necessarily want that sort of aromatic sort of feistiness added to the rum. I just wanted to be able to appreciate neat rum. But that was my journey. Eventually, after 8, 9, 10 months, I was able quite happily just to pour a rum in a glass, one of these glasses, or, you know, whatever you got, another one of these. I was quite happily just to pour rum in there and I could appreciate it like I did cognac. Cognac for me was the easy one. Cognac just went straight in a glass. Oh, I flipping love that. Rum took some work. Now, I'm going to make it absolutely crystal clear. There is nothing wrong with drinking rum watered down with sugar in a rum fashion. The same way there is nothing wrong of drinking rum and cola. You always do you, and do not let anyone tell you that you have to drink rum a certain way. Rum is all about enjoying your way. But this video, if you're one of those people that really do want to get down to drink neat rum, that for me is the cocktail that does it. It's not even really a cocktail, it's just rum, ice and a bit of sugar, let's be honest. But gradually reduce the amount of sugar they're using, gradually reduce the amount of ice cubes they're using because that adds less dilution, obviously, less ice you've got, and just work up to getting that neat rum. That is the journey. That is the way of doing it. Now, so your homework, for those of you that have done this, I want you to, actually, for those of you who want to embark that, just drop a comment after watching this video. Just drop a comment below and say, I'm starting now. Come into the Discord community and then let us know how you're getting on. and we can kind of chat about it week by week, month by month. You know, this won't happen overnight. You're just not going to get from 15 ml of sugar syrup in that to drinking that neat in a week. It ain't ever going to happen. Rum geeks, you have to appreciate, have been drinking rum for a lot of years, sometimes 20, 30 years. They forget that they had to go through this process as well, and they'll never admit to going through this process. They'll never admit to drinking spiced rum to start off with. Of course, in their world, they started off with proper hardcore rum, which is absolute tosh. Okay, so let me know how you get on. Let me know what rum you really, really want to get drinking neat. You want to appreciate it neat. Let me know in the comments below, and let's see how you get on. Cheers.